Pitches and voices. My name is Kingsley Okoje, your usual anchor on the program. And as usual, my sign language interpreter for today is Cynthia Godwin. Let me, before I go into the nitty-gritty of today's program, let me start by apologizing to our ardent followers and viewers on television that for quite some time, 2 editions now, we've not been able to come on air. But thank God we are back now to do what we know how to do best, which is, of course, talking about disability, creating awareness on issues concerning persons with disability, not just in Edo State, but in Nigeria at large. And today would not be different as we focus our attention to NABID. NABID, of course, is the sponsor of this program, Hitches and Voices. And NABID is Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, a non-governmental organization based here in Benin City, Nigeria, that is advancing the rights of persons with disability. NABID has embarked on a very noble project, and our guest for today, who's to talk about this, is indeed a noble man. He's the program officer for NABID, and he'll be taking us through what NABID is trying to do to support the Edo State Disability Commission. I'm talking about Mr. Isaac Noble. Welcome to Hitches and Voices.
Thank you, Kingsley. I'm grateful.
All right. Like it is with NABID, one of our core mandates, like I said in my introduction, is to advance the rights of persons with disability. And for quite some time, NABID participated in several activities, calling on the Edo State government to do the needful by passing a law for persons with disability. That was done, and NABID was not satisfied. Together with other sister organizations, we pushed for the Edo State government to set up a commission for persons with disability that would drive the implementation of the law. And kudos to the current governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo. He set up the commission to implement the provisions of the law. But the commission is in place now, but I'm sure NABID is still not satisfied. NABID has started a project to support the Edo State Disability Commission. And I want my guest in the studio today, Mr. Noble NABID, who is the program officer for NABID, to take us through this project.
All right, thank you so much, Kingsley. I want to especially greet our viewers at home. Compliments of the season to everyone. Yes, NABID currently is implementing the project, capacity building for justice providers in handling vulnerable groups project. It's a project that is with the support of the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program, ROLAC, implemented by International ID, and supported or funded by the European Union. It's a very short project, just about 2 months, but one of the aim that we have for this project or goal is to achieve the strengthening of justice sector providers, particularly mechanisms, justice mechanisms in the states to be more inclusive and provide more accessibility for persons with disabilities in accessing justice in Edo State. But particularly at the tail end, when we did that proposal, the commission was not yet on board. So as soon as the commission came on board, we saw a need to rework the proposal, and thankfully, ROLAC gave us that open door to rework it. And one of the things we want to achieve, which is very critical for us right now, is the strengthening of the newly established Edo State Commission for Persons with Disabilities. So part of the things we're going to be doing in this project within these next 2 months is to strengthen, we call it institutional strengthening. Yes, institutional strengthening of this commission, of the members, and of course the ex officials, and to ensure that this commission is able to receive the needed support to carry out its function as a commission that is representing persons with disabilities in the Edo State government. And I would want to say that so far we've been able to achieve some level of results already, though the project just began December 1st. But so far, one of the key provisions that we saw in the law, the Edo State Disability Rights Law of 2022, is that the commission is to function with the support of what we call ex-officials. That is each of the relevant MDAs or necessary MDAs that's to work with the commission are supposed to designate a senior staff member to serve as an ex-official in the board of the commission. And so when this project came on board, we needed to do a training or a workshop where these ex-officials will be on ground. And so what we did was that we began to mobilize. We wrote to the HOS, and then right now we have these ex-officials are currently mobilized to the commission. That is a plus for us because before now, that was not there. All right, so but through this project, we're able to mobilize, and this commission right now has expanded its board to include these ex-official members. And just last week here, we had the first 2 days workshop training to train the commission and, of course, these ex-official members on what is required of them to function and to push the commission as a regulatory body to truly achieve its objectives for which it was set up for.
You just said something that's very striking. You mentioned the objective of the commission. How significant is this training? How would this training help members of the commission to effectively achieve the implementation of their mandate?
Thank you. You see, the commission, like I stated, is a newly set up commission, so they are still at the very base level, all right? And giving them the needed support right now is all that is required, okay, to function effectively. Yes, the government has done their part by establishing a commission, but if you notice, during the just concluded International Day for Persons with Disabilities, on the 5th, we organized, in collaboration with the commission and JONAPID, NAVID organized the 14th Rights Above Charity Lecture. And the theme for this, for the lecture was from establishment to effectiveness, making inclusion the heartbeat of governance in Edo State. So that signifies that we know that government has played its role by establishing the commission. Right now, what we are looking at is to see how this commission can be effective. So the training we did last week was a 2 days workshop to train. We got the consultant to train the commission and, of course, the ex-official members on the statutory role as a commission. And one of the outcome or output from this 2 days workshop is the development of the operational manual for the commission. You know, for example, these are baby steps we are taking, especially as a commission, the commission level. So we are helping them take that step, like we're like providing a guide, all right? So one of the outputs is that we've been able to achieve the operational manual, which is being fine-tuned currently as we speak. All right, and also I want to also let you know that just the previous week before the December 5th, December 3rd program, we were able to even achieve the simplification of the Edo Disability Rights Law of 2022. It's still under this output from this same very project, where the law is being simplified so that the common man can access the provisions of that law without needing a learned colleague to decipher the content of the law. Yes. So that is part of the things we are trying to achieve. And one of the things you will see that at the end of this 2 days capacity training that we did, there was increase in knowledge, all right, on the part of the commission on their statutory role, and also what is expected of them as per the public, and at the same time too, the part that is very important for them is to understand their regulatory function, all right, as a commission. And one of the things that we help them guide their operations was the operational manual, which, like I said, was developed in that workshop. So you see that it's a whole robust program that at the end, in the next 1 year, 2 years, you will not believe how much we would have achieved by this foundation that is being laid.
You talked about an operational manual, which is one of the key documents or one of the fallouts from the 2 days capacity training. I also know that you are working towards developing another document, which is a strategic work plan for the commission, but we'll talk more about that. We'll go on a quick break now. Don't forget the program is Hitches and Voices, coming to you courtesy of Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, NAVID, a non-governmental organization here in Nigeria. We'll go on a quick break now. We'll come back. We'll continue our conversation with our guest, Noble NAVID, a program officer with NAVID. We'll be back. Welcome back from that very short break. If you're just joining us, the program is Hitches and Voices. Don't forget, our conversation has been with Mr. Israel Noble Isaac, a program officer with NABID, and he's been having conversations with us about NABID's intervention or NABID's support for the Edo State Disability Commission to strengthen the commission, to enable the commission fulfill its core mandate. And before we went on break, he was talking about helping the commission develop a operational a document that will help them function very well. Like I said before we went on the break, you talked about a strategic plan. Why do you want to help the commission develop a strategic plan?
All right, thank you. Thankfully, we have a government that's very supportive of the commission since its establishment. And one of the things that we also say is the outcome, an outcome for the commission since inception is that for the first time they were able to defend their budget, and for 2026 fiscal year they will be operating with a budget. All right. So we, as a development partner, NABFID, we see the need that it is important that they don't just implement programs or projects, but they have a policy drive. All right, so that's why we, with support from the ROLAC program, we are able to, that will be in January 2026, we'll be having a 3-day strategic planning workshop with the commission members and of course the ex-officials who have just been inaugurated into the commission to develop a 3-year strategic plan and a work plan for 2026 based on the budgets that have been submitted already to the states for the commission, so that it will be like strategic plans are like roadmaps. They show you direction. They direct you on projects and programs that you do. Is a policy direction. All right. So the strategic plan we are looking at is that it's going to be for 2026 through to 2028, which of course also in addition, like a cherry on the cake, will also be including the 1-year work plan, which is for 2026 for the commission. So that at a glance, even if they are going to be desiring partners to join them to push through with the strategic plan, it will be easier to bring partners on board, to be easier to bring,
all right.
Yes.
I don't want us to be too academic with this program so that an average listener can follow properly. But the essence of all of this is to ensure that the commission functions optimally and deliver on its core mandate, which is to provide for the welfare and to protect the rights of persons with disability. I believe that's the essence of all of this activity. But let's go back to the ex-official you talk about. I believe these are members of various MDAs who will be working with the commission to achieve its mandate. And I like the fact that you are carrying various members of each ministry along. But I just want you to speak to the specific. Why is it important for these ex-officials to be part of the commission, to understand what the commission is doing so that they can implement it at their various ministry? How important is this?
All right, you just answered it.
I want you to expand on it.
You just answered it because their involvement play a great role. One, at the beginning stage, when you are part of those laying the foundation, you're able to contribute meaningfully to the raising of the edifice. All right. So in this case, the ex-official coming on board right now at this ground level is very critical. They understand where the commission is and where the commission is going. And so, as representatives of these various ministries are on board, for example, Ministry of Justice, one of their rep was available throughout the 2 days workshop. When he goes back to the Ministry of Justice, his role, his responsibility is to ensure that all the programs the Ministry of Justice will be carrying out henceforth should be inclusive. It should have a disability component, because disability is a cross-sectoral or multi-sectoral issue. All right, and therefore, talking about access to justice, for example, talking about accessing the maybe family courts or whatsoever, he understands the concept, because the truth is that you can't advocate for what you don't understand. So if they are on board, they understand the concept, they understand the idea from which persons with disabilities are speaking from. And so when they are at the implementation or policy level in their various ministry, they can make meaningful contributions. Okay, I'm representing this group in this capacity, and I can speak for them in this level? Can we make this program more inclusive? And how do we do it? You will now see them bringing ideas. Okay, we can do it this way because they already have ideas. They've been trained on how inclusive programs should look like.
Oh, beautiful. So, for example, maybe someone, an ex-official in the commission who is a staff of the Ministry of Information, for example, if there's a policy to carry out a campaign or an awareness creation, he's going to speak for the disability community to say, look, we must make this campaign more inclusive.
Thank you.
Because sometimes we see campaigns on television, on radio, and they are not inclusive enough. They don't carry the deaf community along. You do jingles, there are no sign language interpreters to help the deaf community understand what you're talking about. If there's an epidemic now, how is the deaf community going to be aware? So such ex-official will help break down, unbundle these policies and ensure that they are more inclusive, they are more disability friendly. That's a good one. Let's look at you say it's a 2 months program.
Yes.
So at the end of these 2 months, what does NABID hope to achieve with this project?
Thank you. I will just run through the line of project activities that were planned out, so that when I speak to the results, it will be clearer. To our audience out there. One of the things we want to achieve primarily is to increase access to justice.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. For example, strengthening the commission is in a way improving access to justice because persons with disabilities will have better representation, both at the government level and also at the monitoring level, where you talk about regulatory functions. All right. Also, we want to see that the current law, Disability Rights Law 2022 of Edo State, is simplified. Like I mentioned, we are simplifying that law. We've done the validation session just earlier this month, the 3rd or 2nd, I think 2nd of December. And part of that, what we did was to validate the simplified version of the disability law. And after we are done with the final editing, we'll be producing even braille versions and other large print versions so that it will be available for the various clusters to access. That's one of the things we want to
members of the public in general.
Yes, of course. Even the digital copy will also be made available for anyone to access it in a simplified language. All right. And secondly, we are looking at conducting a research, all right, on inclusivity of the Edo State Civil Service. All right, because we believe that the current state of the Edo State Civil Service on inclusion, all right, there's no data backing. Though we know that the government have tried, the government have tried by employing, persons with disabilities. Just recently, after the 14th above charity lecture, you could see that the governor gave direct appointments to one barrister Kanye Sidahosa into the Ministry of Justice. That is applaudable, all right, and. We through this project want to strengthen inclusion in the Edo State Civil Service. And one of the ways to do this is through data research, where we can say, okay, this is where we are. All right, this is how far, this is what is commendable from what the Edo State government has done, and also make recommendations. How can they improve? Because it's not enough to employ, it's not enough to bring persons with abilities into this space to work, but are there reasonable accommodations? All right, are there accessible buildings? These are things that we are looking at in this research, and it's going to be, we will make the findings public so that the members of the public can also have access and also even use it to make decisions, informed decisions moving forward. Then thirdly, we are looking at also this strengthening of the commission. We've talked about it already, the professional manual, and of course the strategic plan for 3 years that will cover the commission's operation and that will strengthen their operations as a commission. Then also we are looking at a case where we're also going to be creating awareness. For example, this program we're having now is an awareness creation program. Of course. So we are creating awareness not just on the project itself, but also on disability issues, how front burner issues are perceived, all right, by the general public, and how they can better position themselves, in responding. You need to respond right when it comes to disability issues, all right, because that's why we are creating that awareness to ensure that there is deeper understanding. So part of the result we want to see at the end of this project is that there is increase in our awareness, one on disability law and of course on disability related issues when it comes to access to justice. And also, let me also skip this also. One of the critical components we're also seeing here is that there's an intersection of disability and sexual and gender-based violence. Yes, there's an intercession, because most of the times, most of these vulnerable persons are persons with disabilities, but they don't speak because they don't have a channel through which they can speak. So part of this we're going to be doing this project also is that in next year, January, we're going to be training SAC workers. All right, it's part of this project. We're going to be training SAC workers in Edo State on inclusive practices in handling sexual and gender-based related issues. Yes. We're going to be doing that, and part of the result one will see is that we'll have more inclusive practices. For example, like this, we did a research. When we were doing some of our findings, we find that at the state level in the SAC center, they don't have a database disaggregated by disability. So they agreed to us.
To take count of persons
Thank you.
who
Yes.
have been
So they agreed.
violated.
Thank you.
Yes.
They agreed to us that persons with disabilities have been violated. They've come to report, but in their database they don't have that, because in their case form. Disaggregated by data. So that's part of the reason why we are doing this training also, to strengthen that provision.
All right, we'll continue this conversation. It's quite an intense one, and it's obvious that the program officer for NAVID, Mr. Isaac Noble Israel, has a lot to say concerning this subject. We'll bring him on again to expand more on this conversation, but unfortunately we run out of time to continue the conversation today. Like I said, we'll stay on this topic and expand on it. It's a wrap for the program today on Hitches and Voices. I'd like to thank you for following us on the program, and for our listeners on radio, thank you for taking our time to also listen to the program today. We'll do this again next week. Till then, my name is Kingsley Okoje, saying spot the hitch and be a voice.
Ugeni Madonna, Imazedion, Orero, obviously Agbo, Manazo, or Ugeni Madonna.
You will have to serve the community for 30 years before you come to this stage. They will ordain you ordain title. Then by then you are one of the elder.
This year now, we don't read the year, so that's why we can do this year.
Historically, joining the Elders' Council, an individual must have reached a certain age and must have made significant contributions to the community through leadership, service, or other meaningful ways. There was jubilation in the community as sons and daughters of Okada, both at home and in the diaspora, trooped out to be part of the ceremony with various homes of the initiates agog with festivities. Friends and well-wishers of those initiated into the Elders' Council jubilated at the Ogwedion after performing all traditional rites. The elders, known as Edion, in company with their loved ones, danced to their various homes where guests and family members were entertained.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
More blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church, CGCC, formerly known as the Lateran Assembly. Today, all across the world, there are rumblings. Nations are plagued by perplexing situations. Societies are drowning in unprecedented upheavals. Cities are grappling with complex problems. Families are overwhelmed by seemingly insurmountable challenges, while multitudes in the valley of decision and people are in dire need of hope. At the same time, there is a stirring in the hearts of those who know their God and are said to do exploits, those who understand the times and the seasons and know what their nation ought to do, those with a compelling call to respond to the mandate of God in this decade. Brothers and sisters, this decade is a decade like no other. It's a decade of the designated favor of God upon his people. To accurately position ourselves for this current move of God and to be adequately equipped for the call of the hour, we must shape the decade by the word of God, which is why I'm so glad to welcome you to the Moment of Truth, a life-transforming time in the presence of God and under the influence and power of the Holy Spirit, as well as the Word of God. So invite your family, neighbors, and friends as you sit back, relax, and receive the engrafted Word of God, which is able to save your soul. The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all he did to prosper in his hand. Who was making him prosper? of making him God. So Joseph found, Joseph found favor in his sight and served him. Then he made him overseer of his house. And all that he had, he put under his authority. Did he apply for raise? Did he apply for increase in salary? He was not even entitled to any payment, but he became overseer of everything. So it was from the time that he had made him overseer of his house and all that he heard, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was on all that he heard in the house and in the field. Why? That shows you something. He was a man who knew how to seek God's face. Because those things will not happen. They will not have to write for you. He prayed 10 times a day. He prayed 15 days. Those things will not manifest if he was seeking God's hand. Olu Agbami, Olu Agbami, Olu Agbami. And when you die, Olu Agbami, Olu Agbami, Olu Agbami. I told you before, it wasn't solitary confinement. It was solitary refinement. God was bringing the best out of him, because if there's no process, there cannot be progress. And you know what happened? He was a handsome man. Thus he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he did not know what he had except for the bread which he ate. Now Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. What did I call that in the past? Occupational hazard. Occupational hazard. How do you describe such people? Fine boy, no pimples. And everybody is after you, including married or not married. You know, Mrs. Potiphar lied against him, and he was thrown into prison. Come on. A slave stripped of his overseer coat and thrown into prison wearing prisoner's garment. What happened to him? Verse 20 of Genesis 39. Now Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were confined. And he was there in a VIP prison. God was orchestrating everything, because what will bring him out of prison was the man he will meet and interpret dreams for. Not unto God from eternity are all his works. It's not an accident that we met. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy. And he gave him, let mercy be around you all. And he gave him in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph and all the prisoners who were in the prison, whatever they did there, it was his doing. He ran the timetable, he ran the show. The keeper of the prison did not look into anything that was under Joseph's authority, because the Lord was with him. And whatever he did, the Lord made it. Can you beat this? Can your academic qualifications and paper qualifications match this? How about Moses? Exodus 33, 12 to 17. The presence of God was what made the difference in their life. Stop pursuing useless things. But Moses said to the Lord, see, you say to me, bring up these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray, if I found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, the presence, the person, that I may know you, and that I may find grace, which is favor, in your sight. And consider that this nation is your people. Listen to God. And he said, my presence, we go with you, and I will give you rest. Then he said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not bring us up from here. For how then will it be known that your people and I have found grace in your sight, except you go with us? His presence is what made a difference in the lives of this great man you admire. His presence. The presence of God in the life of Moses, number 3, was also the major difference between him and the congregation in the wilderness that he led. You heard him when he was praying here, show me your way. What did God do? He showed his way to Moses and his miracles to the children of Israel. I wish I can go deep into this and show you how he showed him his ways. He said, if a prophet, I will reveal myself to him in Numbers 12. He said, I will do it by dream or vision, but not Moses. I know him face to face. Face to face. He sought my face. My countenance is upon him. My grace has risen upon him. He sought my face, and I showed it to him. You're seeking God for promotion. That job, Lord, I need it so badly. Lord, make it happen. One of my daughters was almost crossed recently. I was speaking to her on phone, and I said, what's the matter? This is not your... He said, I don't want to bother you. I know it's fasting and praying. I said, what is the matter? Tell me. He said, no, I don't want to bother you. I said, okay, carry your load. Then she mentioned, hey, it is this, and mentioned the name of a bank. And I called the MD CEO. This person is my daughter. Then I told her, by next week you get Richard. And she got it. Said, that kilefiche, motishe. No, we are different. Do you understand me? If you can patiently wait, you eat the good of the land. Where are you hurrying to? But Pastor, you have never done that to me. Did you discuss with me? Don't worry. Amen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, matonke. Oh yeah, tombe. Amatonke belong pa. Yeah, tombe. Ma people so gentle. Psalm 103 verse 7. He made known his ways to Moses, his acts to the children of Israel. Hey, how did God make his way known to Moses? I've given you Numbers 12. You can read it from verse 1 to 8. I know him face to face. Now let me give you a summary. Deuteronomy 34:10. Deuteronomy 34 verse number 10. I love. But since then, there's not arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. Let me ask you an important question. Do you know God face to face? Can he guide you by his eye? Do you carry his presence everywhere you go? That's what is working in my life. I'm a carrier of his presence and his glory. And I don't want anything to tamper with that. I'm ready to forsake everything and everyone, but to cling to that. Dear friends, God's preference in prayer is for you to seek his face and not his hand. People who seek God's hand will sometimes come back or slow down once they obtain what they are looking for. The Yoruba say, "Bí a bá ń gbà wọ́n ẹ̀bà, a máa ṣojú àánú, bí a bá yó tán, àdọ́kọ̀ Olúwa ẹni." Those who seek God's hand in prayers are hit and run believers. Have you met hit and run lovers before? Have you met people like that? Hit and run. One pursue. One so. But he shy more like bah. Opari next. Oti law. You want to be right from Lumber Playboy. So you come play. Deuteronomy chapter 32. That's a long read, but I will take my time to read it. I want you to see the mindset of hit and run believers. They only come to church when it's convenient. Convenience is their watchword, not commitment, not sacrifice. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father and he would show you, your elders, and they would tell you, when the Most High divided their inheritance to the nation. There's no nation without inheritance. Some waste theirs. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the children of Israel. For the lost portion is his people. Can I hear amen? Jacob is the place of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, in the wasteland, a howling wilderness. He encircled him. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. See, investment. As an eagle stirs up his nest, hovers over its young, spreading out his wings, taking them up, carrying them on its wing. So the Lord alone led who? Israel. And there was no foreign God with him. He made him ride where? In the heights of the earth, that he might eat the produce of the fields. He made him draw honey from where? The rock, where others got water. At this time, he was getting honey and oil from the flinty rock, curds from the cattle, and milk of the flock with fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the choicest wheat. You drank wine, the blood of the grapes. But Jeshurun grew fat and kicked. You grew fat, you grew thick, you are obese. Then he forsook God who made him and scornfully esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with foreign gods. With abominations, they provoked him to anger. They sacrificed to demons, not to God. To gods they did not know. To new gods, new arrivals that your fathers did not fear. Of the rock who begot you, you are mindful and have forgotten the God who fathered you. And when the Lord saw it, he spurned them because of the provocations of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face. You see, that's where the answer prayer stops. And because, do you understand me? I will hide, you can't seek his face, he's hidden it. I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end will be, for their perverse generation, children in whom is no faith. The book of Psalm 81, verse number 8. Am I boring you? I want your life to change. I want you, before you call, for him to answer. And instead of you seeking, for him to be seeking you. For him to be saying, I've not heard your voice this morning, so I've come to wake you up. Can I hear your voice? I miss you so much. It's been 2 days now that you have not spoken to me. He's looking for you. He's seeking you. Others are seeking his hand. He's seeking you for a reason. Psalm 81, verse number 8. Hear, O my people, and I will admonish you. O Israel, if you will listen to me. There shall be no foreign God among you, nor shall you worship any foreign God. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people will not heed my voice, and Israel will have none of me. So I gave them over to their own stubborn heart to walk in their own counsels. Oh, that my people will listen to me, that Israel will walk in my ways. I will soon subdue their enemies and turn my hand against their adversaries. The haters of the Lord will pretend submission to him, but their faith will endure forever. He would have fed them also with the finest of wheat and with honey from the rock. I would have satisfied you. Okay, you can leave the rest. You understand me? You see what you're missing? What would have been yours? Would have fed you with the finest of wheat, with honey from the rock. The hit and run lovers come to seek his hand, and the moment they get the miracle, they bolt. Can't see them anymore. Those who use God in this manner love his miracles and the attendant provisions. They love the miracles. They love the bread. They love it. But they do not want enduring, sustainable relationship with him on constant basis. John chapter 6, verse 22. On the following day, when the people were standing on the other side of the sea, saw that there was no other boat. This was when he fed 5,000 people, except that one which his disciples had entered, and that Jesus had not entered the boat with his disciples, but his disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats came from Tiberias near the place where they ate bread after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they put on their thinking cap. They also got into boats and came to Capernaum seeking. They came to Capernaum seeking Jesus. And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, when did you come here? Jesus answered them and said, most assuredly, I say to you, you seek me. Not because you saw the sign, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. Ode wa kianda ode ebamile kuro nile mi owe yo fe wahala jenkoku. Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. John 4:19-24. The woman said to him, the woman of the well, Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, yes. And you Jews say that in Jerusalem is a place where one ought to worship. Jesus said to her, Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour is coming, and now is, when true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such. Such who are not worshiping him for what they can get. Such who worship him for who he is. Who desire his presence more than anything. As a brook, as a deer pants after the brook water, so my soul pants after you. When God begins to seek you, what others are looking for will look for you. Therefore, seek ye therefore the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All these other things shall be added unto you. Stand to your feet. I will continue from there next week. What is God's preference when he says, seek me? Is it his hand or his face? When his face and his countenance begin to throw light on you, what do you think happens? You carry a weight of glory. What others are looking for will gravitate towards you. Lift your hands to heaven. Ask, you shall receive. Seek, you shall find. Seek his face. Lord, the grace to seek your face. Grant your people. Grant them that grace not to be distracted, so that they will not be defeated. Instead of looking for your hand, let them look for your face. And Lord, I pray that your countenance will be lifted up upon them. You grant them favor in all that they do. In the mighty name of Jesus, and none of them will be lacking in all the essentials of prayers that heaven will answer. Let their words become like that of Joshua. Let it become like that of Samuel. Let them decree a decree and let it be established unto them. Thank you, Father. We seek your face today. Look down from heaven and make impossible possible. Intervene in the situation of Nigeria and let the whole world know you are the Lord. And beside you, there's none other. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. When he says, when you wear mercy around you, you will obtain favor and high esteem before God and before men. I told you the next thing is divine direction. What follows is the way you honor him with your substance. That's the way it follows. You will not have to look for these things. When you seek his face, it will cause his face to shine upon you. You will have divine direction. It is those who he guides that way, who he favors, that should honor him with his substance. It's not by compulsion. It's not mua, mua, mua. Do you understand me? And when you do that, you honor him with your substance, then it will cause your barns to be full. It's as simple as ABC. He's not asking the ungodly to give to him. He's asking his people, not because he wants to take from them, he wants to give to them. First port of call, seek his face. obtain favor, high esteem before God and men. Second, let him direct your step every inch of the way. It will bring you substance, and therefore you honor him with what he has honored you with. The Father's honor upon you is what you return to him. Do you understand? Your barn will be full, affording all manner of produce. That will be your portion this season. In Jesus' name, amen. What an amazing time we just had in the presence of God. I hope you are richly blessed. My heartfelt desire is that you may light up your word with the illumination you have just received. May the immeasurable grace of God empower you to act on what you've heard and to walk in the revealed counsel of God. Always remember that it takes a transformed life to transform a family, a society, or a nation. So let God do his work in you so that he can do his work through you. And as you proceed on this journey of destiny, remember that our ultimate destination is God. I pray that God's footprint will become your pathway, and that your path will be as a shining light that shines brighter and brighter to a perfect day. Till we meet again next week, remain sandwiched between the peace of God and the God of peace. Have an amazing time we just had in the presence of God. I hope you are richly blessed. My heartfelt desire is that you may light up your word with the illumination you have just received. May the immeasurable grace of God empower you to act on what you've heard and to walk in the revealed counsel of God. Always remember that it takes a transformed life to transform a family, a society, or a nation. So let God do his work in you so that he can do his work through you. And as you proceed on this journey of destiny, remember that our ultimate destination is God. I pray that God's footprint will become your pathway, and that your path will be as a shining light that shines brighter and brighter to a perfect day. Till we meet again next week, remain sandwiched between the peace of God and the God of peace. Have an amazing week.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
TV, certainly the best.
All right, beautiful people, it's another lovely Monday evening. Of course, it's my pleasure to have you join me on yet another lovely episode of the Guys Hangout Show on Independent Television, reaching you live from the city of Bronze. Yes, it is that city where the king is truly king. Now, for those who are just joining us for the first time, the Guys Hangout Show is one show that, teaches men to put themselves first, to prioritize themselves, and of course, to invest in themselves. All right, it's important to invest in others, it's important to give to others, but you have to first give to yourself. After all, the Holy Book says that you should love your neighbor as yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you can't love others right. Yep, that's basically what to teach men on the Guys Hangout Show. My name is Harry Aigbo J, and of course, it's my pleasure to have you join me on this episode of the show. Now, tonight, we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting topic, which has to do with, taking action rather than procrastinating or just doing wishful thinking. Okay, but just like I'm never alone on the show, so we're going to be doing I'm going to be having this discussed with someone, a friend of the house, a part and parcel of the Guys Hangout Show. He is a clergy, he is a resource person, and of course he is a life coach. He has contributed a whole lot to seeing to the development of men and masculinity, and he goes by the name of Benedict Ochagu. It's good to have you in the house, Benedict.
Yeah, it's a pleasure once again. Always a pleasure. Always. And good evening to you out there. It's always a pleasure being with you.
Thank you so much, Benedict. It's good to have you in the house. Now, tonight we're taking a look at the need to put or to match words or match plans with action. Okay, now as men, we plan a lot. We have plans. In fact, I don't think men's plans are exhaustible. Okay, we plan a lot. We want to do this. We have a business. We want to get married. Even for those who are married, we want to have kids. And of course, we also need to decide on how many kids we are going to have and all of that. So we make plans a lot. But the big question is, how much of these plans are we able to execute? And what is our willingness and our capacity to make these plans, to convert these plans to actionable, realities? Because that is where the challenge lies for a lot of us. It's not like we don't have plans, right? If you ask the average, young man what his plans for this year is, for instance, I'm sure he's going to go on and on and on telling you what he intends to do. But in some cases, a couple of months down the line, it seems like nothing has been achieved, or it seems like, there are no chances of those plans becoming reality. What do you think is responsible for that?
For me, I believe that every human being is God's plan.
Okay.
Yeah, or wishes. There are things that you wish to do, you wish had happened, you wish. But I think where the problem is actionable steps to making sure that those things does not end in just planning or just end in wishes, because there are 3 steps: wishes, plans, and action.
Okay. So you're saying that the beginning is the wish, the wishing part.
Yeah, there are things you desire. There are things you just wish you have, or you do, or it happens to you, happens for you, and all of that. Wish is desires. And unfortunately, a lot of people end life there.
Just wishes.
Wishes, wishes, wishes. Some upgrades to planning. You know, you set plans. I'm going to do like this. In order to get, I'm going to do like this. I'm going to do like this plans. But it doesn't just end there. There is execution. Beginning to carry out those plans one after the other, one at a time, and all of that. And I think that is where majority of people fail. It is easy to say that I want to shed weight, for example. It's easy to say that I just, in the new year, I found out that I'm adding up so much. I want to shed weight.
Okay.
It's a want, it's a wish. It's easy to say, okay, how do I do that? I have to go to the gym. I have to
cut
down on things like that, manage my diet better.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to change my diet. I have to improve my diet and all of that. It's easy to, you know that those are the things to do. But when you think, what will really bring the change is you either hitting the gym and actually beginning to manage your diet.
Okay.
That is where the change will happen. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, because there are a lot of people that say, I want to give my parents good life. For example, young people, young guys out there. I want to give my parents good life. I want to do this. I want to buy a car for my mom. I want to do this. Great, but what exactly are you doing that in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, you should get to that level where you will do all of those things for your parents? What exactly? What are the step-by-step action you are taking? I asked somebody recently, and I know that she has very strong desire to help the parents, to do things for the parents. But I feel, in my own opinion, that she's not doing enough. You understand? To be able to get to that level where you can have the financial freedom to do all of those things for your parents or to your loved ones.
She's not putting in enough tangible efforts.
Yeah, you understand. I feel so personal, and then I have to discuss with her about it. Look. But I'm happy for her that she's beginning. You understand?
Yeah.
Because like I talk to people from my heart, and if you take it, great. If you don't, so those are the things. You have made your plans. Yes, I want to do this year. What step have you started taking? Because it's about steps. It's about actions. It's about actions. I want to have a good presentation in terms of public speaking, in terms of, there are a lot of people that may want to one day be here to discuss what we discuss, to do what we do. But what are you doing right now so that when the opportunity comes, you will not be found wanting?
Okay.
You understand? So those are the things. As a guy out there, you must start the plan. It may be that, okay, I want to buy a new car this year. Maybe by the mid-year, I want to get a new car. What is your saving plan? The savings plan you have made. And how consistent and diligent are you with it? About saving, about cutting down on some other excesses, about cutting down on enjoyment, because I have a goal, I want to get a car. So you must look at all of those things and take actions. You want to travel abroad, what are you doing? Do you know that there are people that wish to travel abroad that doesn't have international passport? It's ironical.
How do you intend to achieve that?
It's ironical that you see them with all zest. I want to come out for this country. I want to leave this country. This country I want. Man, when you probe, okay, we want to help you leave the country.
That's the most basic thing that is required of you.
You get, it doesn't have even international, it has never been to immigration. It has never even made an inquiry about how it's done.
So how does it intend to do that?
So you understand, you see wishful thinking everywhere. So you have to travel abroad, you have to start to make the steps. And then again, there are a lot of things that the young, especially the younger people, the mistakes they make. You have made plan to start a business, for example. You don't make plan on how you can get at least a part of the capital. You just wish that my uncle should send me, I want to start a business with, for example, ₦1 million. My uncle should send me ₦1 million to start a business. You are just waiting for who will send you ₦1 million. And you don't
yet have a blueprint as to what to do with that ₦1 million.
No, not even about the blueprint alone. Okay. That is great. But again, how much do you have on your own?
Okay.
How much do you have? And you have been making this plan for 5 years, and you have not been able to save 200,000 on your own. You are not serious. Do you understand it? Because like somebody, a prof was sharing with us yesterday, and he said that if you go to meet somebody and say, help me with money, and he said the person will tell you, okay, maybe a young man could say, give me 50,000. He said, you will tell the young man, okay, I will give you 40,000, but you go and get 10,000. When I see you that you have 10,000, I will balance it off. I will give you the remaining 40,000. He said the reason for that is when he or she goes to look for that 10,000, when he has gone through the hurdle of getting that 10,000, when he sees the effort and the stress and what it took to get 10,000, he or she will appreciate the 40,000 that you gave,
and would most likely not squander it.
Squander it, because he will not say what it took me to get 10,000. It means that the person that gave me 40,000 took 4 times the effort that I took to get 10,000. Right. And that's a massive effort, by the way.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So those are how the wise deal with people. You get. You cannot just go to a bank and say, give me money. The bank will want to see what is your volume of transaction for the past 12 months. How consistent have you been in running this account in this business for the past 12 months? You understand? It is on that premise that the bank will give you a loan and say, okay, you qualify for so and so. Based on the volume of your transaction, based on this level of volume, this is the amount you qualify for. You get it. So it means that if you want to get a loan from bank, you need to start 12 months before the day you will go and apply for the loan. You have to start taking actions. You have to start taking action and preparing yourself 12 months before then. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong. You must take actions. And mind you, the reason why some people don't want to take action is because they don't want to fail. And the reason why you are failing is because you don't want to fail.
I was actually getting to that because, we can't, look at actions without first trying to examine the reasons some persons just stop at wishful thinking. We've actually established that there are so many persons out there who just wish to achieve certain things. They wish to have certain things, but that's where it ends. So the real question is, why do they have this mindset that certain things are beyond their reach or beyond their achievement? They just wish and that's the end of it. Why don't they make efforts? What do you think is responsible for this lukewarm attitude towards, fulfilling their dreams?
The biggest among them is the problem of the mind. And then society. The biggest among them is the problem of the mind and what society feeds, what we feed ourselves on in the society. The things, the ideologies. For example, when you tell somebody, I'm not saying you should throw caution to wind in terms of making investments, for example. You tell somebody, invest in this particular thing. The first thing the person will ask, what if the money loss? Are you getting it? His mind,
that's pessimism.
He's more careful. He's more conscious of losing that money than gaining that money.
So you're saying that a major factor is a pessimistic mentality.
Yes, mindset. The mindset. The problem is the mind. The problem between the rich and the poor is the mind. Is the mind.
Well, don't you think there is a legit excuse for that? Because it's easier for, it's easier for the rich to, make some very huge financial commitments because there is so much more where that came from.
Yeah.
Than for someone who managed to put a certain amount together, and then you are trying to convince them or persuade them to put their money into a certain line of business.
Yeah.
They'll want to think twice. Like, okay, what if I invest this money in this venture and, it's all goes down the drain?
Okay, now, Harry, the first question is, how did the rich become rich? When you read the autobiography of that man that is rich, you'll find out that there was a time he was having 100,000 naira, maybe all the savings of his life, or it was even 10,000. You understand?
Yeah.
It was the risk he took with that 10,000. The investment, because every investment comes with a level of risk, though some come with higher risk than some. It was the investment he made with that 10,000 that brought him to the millions and the billions he is today. Do you understand? Meanwhile, there were people that had 100,000 when he had 10,000 that are poor today because they held on to their 100,000. Are you getting it? And over time, their 100,000, the value of their 100,000 is nothing to. In fact, some has even squandered it because you are holding on to it. But when you want to use it to buy a suit or a good shoe, a shoe that you like, you will not hold on to it. You forget that even the shoe you bought is still over time will still be a loss. Because the highest you can wear that shoe sometimes may even be 2 years, 5 years. Maybe sometime even after 6 months, 1 year, your younger will come and pick it. For example. You get what I'm saying? So what we are saying is that it is a mindset thing. Taking action, undermining the negative part and focusing on the positive. These are the things we have done. These are the things, I'm a risk taker, a big one. If I share certain things, there are things we cannot come to the public to take.
Say.
The financial risk we have taken in time past and we are still taking. Are you getting it? But that's what has shaped us and made us as tough, as we are, as determined to succeed as we are. Because you don't want your story to be told of a man that lost. When you see a man that is determined not to allow his story to be told as a loser, do you understand? That man definitely will succeed. One of the things that distinguishes Cristiano Ronaldo and every other player in the world, are you getting it? Including the best player, in my own opinion, that has kicked the rank ladder, which is Lionel Messi. You understand?
Pardon me, you don't have to go into the details.
No.
It's okay, I understand.
All right.
That was on the line.
But one of the ways why I fancy Ronaldo, even though I believe that Messi is a better footballer than Ronaldo, but Ronaldo, I am a fan of Ronaldo.
Okay.
Why I fancy Ronaldo is because he never wanted his story to be told just to end at where he failed. One of his teammates said that when he feared Ronaldo was when they went to play tennis. In those days when Ronaldo was just about 21, 23. 21 thereabout. They went to play tennis. They finished football, footballers at the end, after training, they would just go to have some other exercise. He said they went to play tennis and Ronaldo lost in that tennis. Ronaldo refused to leave that place. You understand?
Yeah.
He started training until the next time when they met, he defeated that guy that beat him. That was when Ronaldo relaxed that. You see, that was when he started being afraid of this guy, that this guy, his winning mentality is top notch. I mean, this is not football now, it's tennis. But he doesn't want his story in any way to be told as a man that failed.
Light or failure.
That is why you see him putting on all the effort. That is, a lot of people watch the football, they don't learn that part. It's about, I love Ronaldo. Ronaldo is better than Messi. Messi is this. And the young people wasting their life arguing on who is better, and your own life is in one place for 10 years. What lesson are you learning? It is about taking risk. It's about not allowing your story to be told as a man that failed and remained a failure. I think it's Abraham Lincoln that said, I better die trying than to remain a failure. He said, I better die trying than to remain a failure. And eventually, after trying for almost 100 times, he became the president of America. Do you get the story now? So it is not about, it's about taking action. In taking those actions, you will fail many times. Go and ask the rich. That's why you see that the rich, sometimes they don't really trust people that come around easily. They will not trust you easily when you come around them this time. They will take time
to analyze
you before they will trust you, because they have gotten many injuries before they got to where they are. They have suffered many betrayals. Do you understand? They've suffered many, they failed many times. If you go to meet the rich and say invest in this, he will call the accountant, he will call many people, let's analyze it, because he has failed many times before he got to that place. He has garnered experience. You can meet some people and say, this thing, I don't think you should invest in this. I don't think you should, because he is not telling you because he is so much of a superhuman. It's because maybe in time past he has invested in that business for many times and has lost money many times. So he has learned, but he refused to give up. He might have tried many and failed. It's just one that made him a billionaire. One that made him a millionaire. Do you understand it now? So those are the things. Taking action. You want to get married? Taking action. You cannot just stay like somebody say, come here, Claire, you know, they just close from church, you rush out of church, you know, and you say you want to get back. Where with the brothers in the office, you are not friends with anybody. Yeah. You understand? At the market, in the church, in your place of work, in the place of business, you don't have friends, you don't have associates. Everybody is a devil, everybody, all men has come, and you say you want to get married. Where? So you have to take action by making yourself available. You have to take action by showing yourself marriageable, that guys can, because you don't really become a wife because a man paid your bride price. You become a wife before you are found. The Bible says he that findeth a wife.
So you're saying
she's already a wife.
She has to, put herself in a place where
she's already a wife. Biblically, she's already a wife before she is found. Do you understand? She's already a wife. So if you are seeing people that are saying, nobody even they ask me out, madam, you are not a wife yet, because a guy that is asking you out, that is really serious with you, can observe you from distance for 6 months. Do you understand? Some people will say, this guy just met me and in 3 months he said we should get married. It is not 3 months. He has been observing you. Even sometimes he has set some artilleries, intels around you. Do you understand? Yeah. And he has gotten the kind of feedback he is looking for. You get. So those are the things. Actions. Presenting yourself. Taking actions. The things you say you want to do this year. Taking actions. And in taking those actions, so many times you can fail. There is fail in the path of success. In the path of success, the path of success is littered with setbacks, failures and setbacks. That is why there are only few people there in the world. That is why the billionaires are only just about 1% of the world population. So those are the things. Taking action.
All right. Thank you so much, Benedict.
And being ready. To take anything that comes and take anything. Don't let the failure stagnate you. Move
now. This is the part where I would like, in conclusion now. I would like you to advise young people out there, especially young men, because it's a guys hangout show, who really have concrete plans, solid plans as to what they want to become or what they want to achieve in life. But unfortunately, the fear of failure seems to be a clog in the wheels of their progress. What's your advice for such people, in less than 1 minute?
All right, start. If for a venture you find failure, you will navigate yourself along the line, but you have started. You are no longer where you were. So that navigation is now part of the experience. Do you understand? What navigation has taught you, whether you may suffer temporal setbacks, but the truth is that you have left a lot of people behind because you have started, you have moved. You have left a lot
better than those who haven't started as
well. I mean, you have left a lot, even though you are temporarily, there is temporal setback. But while you are there sorting it out to continue, you have left many people. And immediately you sort it out and move, you always move ahead. You always move ahead. So that is what it is. Start. and keep moving.
Thank you so much, Benedict. You said a whole lot, and I hope our viewers out there have been paying attention, and that they try to focus on the very, very amazing nuggets that you've put out there. I personally have learned a whole lot, and I'm hoping that so many other persons out there have learned a lot too.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much once again. The Guys Hangout Show on Independent Television, reaching you live from the city of Bronx. Now, you've heard from Benedict Ochago. It's not enough to wish. Wishful, like they say, if wishes were horses, even beggars would ride, right? So anybody can wish, but how determined are you to convert those wishes to, reality? Because that is actually where the cocoa is, like they say, in our local parlance. It's very, very important. It's not just enough to say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. The earlier you start putting concrete, actions to those wishes, the better for you. So that by the end of this year, you have a testimony and you'll be able to say, okay, I'm not where I was at the beginning of the year. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. My name is Harry Agboje, and until I come your way again, same time, same station on the show, do ensure you stay out of trouble and have yourself a lovely night rest. Bye for now.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy. Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.
Welcome to Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji, and today let's talk about self-defense and the extent with which one can actually go to defend himself or herself, and also look at some laws that support self-defense, making reference to the case of a Nigerian farmer, Sunday Jackson, who overpowered and killed a Fulani herdsman in self-defense, and also he has been sentenced to death by hanging. Despite claims that he acted purely in self-defense, the Supreme Court of Nigeria on March 7, 2025 upheld a lower court verdict, ruling that rather than retaliating, he should have fled. It's Viewpoint on ITV, so let's go meet and sample opinions of resource persons regarding this topic.
I don't think there is any extent that is too far when it comes to a life, an issue of life and death. It is the right of every individual to go any length to protect himself, his properties, and loved one. And that is why the 1999 Constitution has amended, instructed the government of the day that their primary responsibility is safety of the life and property of his citizens. Therefore, if you narrow it down to an individual, it will therefore tell you that his primary responsibility is to ensure that he defends himself, he protects himself and his property and loved ones from any attacks that may lead to life or a loss of life. And in the case of Sunday in question that was sentenced to death by the Supreme Court, I would say ordinarily it is regrettable, it is appalling, and it is very disappointing. The question I would have loved to ask, and I want to ask Nigeria, who were the prosecutors? Who prosecuted Sunday? Is it the Nigeria state that prosecuted Sunday, who defended himself in a situation where security agencies and the Nigerian system were unable to defend him? And I will also ask, what was the fact that were before the judges and the court? Was he established to the extent that those who wanted to sniff life out of Sunday were the killer herdsmen, or those facts were not available because they said the law is blind? Depends on the facts that were available before the judges. And who were the lawyers of Sunday? Was he appropriately represented and defended? And I want to say, in such manner, this matter have been visited with a series of public condemnation. The Supreme Court will now have the cause to revisit his decision, because he himself have the power to revisit his earlier decision, and it's not alien before the Constitution. So in this case, I say it is sad and it is evil, because if this is sustained, we are indirectly giving the killer herdsmen the impetus, the encouragement to further attack innocent Nigerians and innocent farmers, because the law, it seems to defend their actions.
Self-defense, one have to, even if you are not prepared, or you with the current situation in our country, let me just boil down to our local government area where we are, of their notice, with the current situation of security threat and all, one have to be ready for anything. You self-defense for yourself, because one, the police cannot be everywhere, the security operatives cannot be everywhere, but that does not warrant we owning rifles, assorted rifles, which is not registered, which is not does not comply with the government regulations. But we should be prepared for defense, because we don't have much security personnel that will go around or be belted for each and every citizen. But one should be ready to defend itself when you find crisis, or when you find something like that is going to endanger your life. So we should have
that at the back of our mind. Well, that is APEP's court. They've delivered judgment. But on the other side, the court was wrong. Because if that man was murdered without he didn't defend himself, the story will not come up. It wouldn't get to the people that killed him will not even be apprehended. But he defended himself on the cause of a security threat to his life. He defended himself in that extent. He killed. But I blame him for killing. If he has been able to maybe get one of them injured, apprehend them, hand them over to the security operative, it would have been better. I think that is the angle where the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court gave their own verdict. But for me, I think everyone should be prepared for self-defense, because the current situation in the country does not warrant us to be relaxed or just play a hanky-panky game with your own life. I value my life, and I value the life of people around me. With the current situation of these headers, is getting alarming, and government cannot do it all alone. We should also be prepared, because somebody coming to kill you is prepared to do shit. So you should be prepared to defend yourself. So I see no evil act he committed, though the court gave verdict, but does not warrant to that level that he also should take life. Leaving the scene will be the best option, because they were prepared for him. The attackers are prepared to eliminate this man. If he has fled, they will still get him, because they will definitely overpower him. Those ones are with dangerous arms. They are with all sorts of. But he made himself. He defended himself, and I think he's right. It's good. And I also want the government to bring out this policy of controlling our arms for those that are fit to have arms. Each and everybody should be licensed and should be scrutinized before you have arms. In our society today, the headers are causing me. If you see, the total numbers of headers, crime being committed in Novia Northeast alone is on the high side. It's on the global page. So one should be prepared to defend himself. It's not when it happened they will start. Oh, had I known, had it been, we would have defended. A whole community was rendered homeless because of headers. It has happened years ago, and it's still happening. So our government, we self should be prepared to defend ourselves. That's my own opinion.
The case of Sunday Jackson is a very, very sad one. One has tried to see if maybe it was being misrepresented or misreported, but as tried as much as one has, it seems to be that is what the Supreme Court said is what was reported. The man has been sentenced to death. Very unfortunate. The mere mention of the word that he was sentenced to death, convicted and sentenced to death, to me, it sets Nigeria back more than 50 years in our jurisprudence. The reason I say so is very clear. Section 33 of the Constitution of Nigeria. And the Constitution of Nigeria is the ground norm. Any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, by that level of inconsistency, is null and void, invalid, and must be set aside. So if any law falls short of what the Constitution provides for, that law should go. Now, Section 33 of the Constitution says every person has a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life, save in execution of the sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offence of which he has been found guilty in Nigeria. Section 33(2), I think that is 33. Yes, 33(1) I read now. 33(2) says a person shall not be regarded as having been deprived of his life in contravention of this section if he dies as a result of the use to such extent and in such circumstances as permissible under the law or as necessary. Then 2A says for the defense of any person from unlawful violence or for the defense of property. Now that is very clear. You have a right to defend your person. You have a right to defend your person. You have a right to defend any other person apart from yourself, any other person that is within your precinct of protection. You can defend yourself, you can defend your wife, your children, persons that are anybody who is in danger in your precinct, within your presence. You have a right to defend that person. You also have a right to defend your property. that being the case, if we are to interpret it as it states clearly there, you can defend yourself, defend the persons around you, and defend your property. A person who was farming in his own land, in his own farm, in his own land, he was there sitting in his doing his business privately. He didn't go to attack anybody. He was doing his legitimate business, and suddenly he was attacked from nowhere by another person who left home with the sole intention to go and do harm. That other person, the herdsman who came to attack Sunday Jackson, left home with the intention to go and do harm. See, these are two clear cases. If you read the criminal code's provisions on murder, it is the Fulani herdsman, the herdsman that was killed, that actually committed murder, that actually attempted to commit murder, and he was overpowered. Sunday Jackson ought to be given a medal. In a responsible society, be given a medal for defending himself and also defending his property. The reasoning of the Supreme Court is that so far as Sunday Jackson had been able to overpower his attacker, the herdsman, he ought to have run away. Our people must learn that in this life, there are things that are born with you. You have certain rights that are born with you. If you are sure that you are within your rights and you have not committed any offense, and somebody just came to attack you, is attacking you, you have done all that you needed to do to avoid the attack, but he's attacking you on your own property. Please defend yourself. You have a right to self-defense. I know that it would dwindle, it will bring down the fight, the push back to defend yourself from the farmers, because the farmers on their own part, they've suffered enough and they've been trying to defend themselves. But with this judgment now, judgment is going to bring down, it's going to dampen their spirit. It's going to dampen the spirit of defending themselves. But they shouldn't see from that perspective. Rather, the farmers should speak up in one voice, go to the National Assembly, push for an amendment of the Constitution and even the Criminal Code, so that it will not expressly so say that if you are in your property and you are attacked, you can do anything to defend yourself. Let it be expressly so say. Because when it is not expressly so say, the way it is, I read the provision just now, you can see that it leaves room for the judgments that can go this way and go that way. It's time we amend this provision to make it now clear. Even though it is so already, but it should now be very clear that anytime you attack a man in his own property, you can be killed and nothing will happen. Let everybody understand that one.
Actually, I want to look at it from two major aspects. The reason that I want to look at it from these two aspects is because of some things that I know. When I say some things that I know, is that one, I'm looking at the aspect that have to do with the issue of some things that trend in social media. That when you find out the detail, it might not be as it is being presented. So, if the judgment was actually based on what we have been hearing and reading on social media, personally, I would say that is extremely wrong, bad, injustice, and wickedness. But if that is not the true story, that there is something behind it, probably they find out that it was not in self-defense, then that means the government need to come out and make the truth to be known. But for now, since we have not heard contrary outside what has been going on social media, it's a condemnable act, an injustice of judgment. Then, if I want to look at the extent to which one should defend himself from the biblical aspect, I know that some people want to say something, want to react negatively. Some others may also want to see it from another perspective. Why did I say so? For instance, Jesus was saying something. He said that if somebody slap you on one side, you should give the other side. Then if you also look at it, he was also talking about that if somebody is dragging you to the court, he said you should quickly settle the matter on the way. And when you read that scripture down, you now discover that one of the reasons that Jesus was giving such counsel was actually because of the injustice of men. So when you look at that, I want to say that if you see anything that have to do with trouble, the best is that you should run away from it. Be somebody that will follow the Bible principle, where the Bible told us that we should follow peace with all men. That means we should be peacemaker. Then we should not allow anything that will make us to become in trouble with anybody. But that is not to say that trouble will not come. Because even if you decided to stay on your own, not to relate with people, trouble will still come. So I want to say this. There is a law of the land. Because as far as we are still here on this earth, so you discover that there are things that we cannot do without. There are laws that are guiding everybody. So when it comes to the aspect of self-defense, in the area that is, we are now going out of the biblical principle, it should be that the government should know that if they are not there to provide security for the people don't have option. Now for them to at least to also want to rise up to say let them defend themselves, because you can't watch an evil man coming to you to take your life and you now say because tomorrow they will judge and you will not be defended based on to say you kill the person that is trying to kill you, that you should allow them to just come and slaughter you before your face. So you have to also rise. So I want to use this opportunity and this medium to tell our leaders that they should rise up to their own responsibility. They should rise up to their own justice. They should not make those that they are leading to lose confidence in them. Because the truth is this, as far as Nigeria is concerned, the summary of our justice is injustice. It's something that is condemnable. To rise up and do the right.
Something whereby how to defend myself. Just like where I'm working right now, this is my factory where I'm doing my production. Someone can just walk in down here now and tell me that he wants to come and take over this property from me, and which I knew is for me. It belongs to me. I will take it to the extreme lengths the way I could, because I have to defend the property for myself, because I will not want someone out there to come and defend it for me, because I own it. I know how I purchase it. And at the same time again, for someone else to just come in and badge on me to tell me that he owns this place, that he wants to take it from me, I will go to extra length to fight and defend myself. If I can defend myself and take a weapon from him, I will not hit him. I can only paralyze him. I won't kill him. I will paralyze him and I will call the police to pick him up.
In English, they have a word called defend. And for me, for somebody that I didn't know, to barge into my personal life, just for him to come and show me, even for any form of intimidation, to go as to something that will affect life, I can go as far as to defend myself. First of all, first defense for my own self, for him not to take my life. Understand? What about if I didn't defend myself and eventually he now succeeded to kill me, for example? I didn't defend myself. How will I learn to take God? And everybody must surely blame me. I must try all my best. But if it happens, something must kill a man one day. Understand? You first try. If it not happen mistakenly, the man now died. But in the law court, I don't know, that is for lawyer, I don't know whether if they have a way of they will not use because of, if they are finishing, that's why police need to be there after finishing the investigation. They know whether if I'm really I'm guilty, I intentionally did it, before they can take anything that they wishes them.
Self-defense is provided for under the criminal code, which is applicable in the southern part of Nigeria, and as well as the penal code applicable to the northern part, which of course where Sunday Jackson incident took place. By virtue of section 286 of the criminal code, self-defense is not, to my own understanding, is not an absolute defense. Because going by the provision of that section, it uses the word reasonable necessary force to repel or to retaliate, so to say, any attacker. And of course, we all know that what is reasonable and necessary at that particular point may not be to the ordinary reasoning of an ordinary man. And we are looking at the Supreme Court here. Their judgment, they have their own reasoning why they come to the conclusion that he should have fled why after disarming his attacker. But the question that is begging for an answer is this: when your life is at stake and someone has come to you to kill you and you are able to disarm him, I think in my own little legal knowledge, if you can disarm him and the weapon with which he attack you, you use it against him, I think that should be regarded as self-defense. But still, I think Supreme Court may have their own reasoning. They are the apex court, and they have their own reasoning why they come to that conclusion. Like I said earlier, self-defense is not an absolute defense in law. Because if you look at the defense of property, it's different from the defense of one's body. And in the defense of property, it will be said that until the attacker is within your premises, before you can actually say he has come to attack. Self-defense, to my own best understanding, is not an absolute defense in law. Going by that provision that you have to use reasonably necessary force.
A semi-war between the Christian and the Muslims, and that's the gospel truth. If Jackson was one Alaji Usman Dafodo or one Malam so and so, they won't say that's him. They will tell you self-defense. Okay, you brought animals into somebody's farm to destroy his crops, and the person was trying to okay, please stop this, your cattle or animal, whatever, from destroying my crops. Then you attack the person. Self-defense. The person trying to save himself took the knife from you, and you could see the mark all over him. Fought back, and in the process, the other person lost his life, and the Supreme Court was quick to pass judgment. They will not be so quick to pass judgment when it comes to politics, when it comes to election and all that. So I think it's one-way ticket. The Christian Union, Christian CAN, PFM should wake up to their responsibility. They should stop fighting themselves. This is a clear motion for believers to think about. Stop fighting yourself and focus on better things. If the Muslim nation can just pass this judgment, just like that, then I think this is Nigeria. Nigeria is not a Muslim country or a Christian country. It's for everybody. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're a non-believer, whatever you're serving, that Nigeria is for everybody. And so the law shouldn't favor one side. So the favorism is going to one side. You can say an Hausa man. Sorry, I'm not trying to be partial here. Selling dagger, knife. Then nothing. When the police, in fact, they won't even arrest him on the street. But you and I, if we walk by the street, there is a knife in our car, the policeman will ask, what are you doing with this knife? When you get to the station, you will explain. But there was some man who they sell out for street, we carry dagger, carry knife. They all come. Nobody harass them. So that's Nigeria that we are.
We're going to be wrapping it up on Viewpoint on ITV by letting you know that in any situation you find yourselves, and if you must defend yourself, you should be ready to do it in accordance with the law. Don't take laws into your hands, and don't do it in a way that you will end up in trouble. I am Caroline Okonji. Bye for now.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.